well, I'm going to charge you $10,000-$15,000 to do your work permit. It's not to find work. It's a scam. I'd always wanted to be a lawyer, so I said, maybe I'll go back to law school. And then as I started to do research, I realized, you know what, I don't have to. I can study to be what they call a registered Canadian immigration consultant. So that's what I did. So I studied immigration law in Canada to better understand the immigration system, and then also be able to represent both employers and candidates or workers outside of Canada with the federal and provincial governments. So that's what I did. I graduated. I learned about the system.
How was the process of getting is that certificate?
Yeah, so it's a certification. So it was about a year of studying that I had to do. There was a lot of prep work and screening and language testing and all these other things and criminal background checks and everything else. We are a regulated profession, so we are regulated with regards to ethics and our practices and things like that, which is important. I really believe in our regulation because you know, there is a lot of scam in immigration. Okay, there's a ton of it. There's a lot of people that are taken advantage of outside of Canada because the motivation is so high to come here, right? And it bothers Antonio and I a lot. We get exposed to it a lot where we hear a lot of stories. People call us and say, you know, like I'm seeking employment in Canada. Somebody approached me in my home country. They're offering employment, but they're charging us $10,000, $15,000, sometimes even $30,000 for a job in Canada. Wow. So it's crazy.
So they make them pay to give them a job.
Yeah.
Or like find them a job.
It's illegal. Like it is 100% illegal. Like you cannot. That's Canadian law.
Borderline extortion.
Yeah, you cannot do that, right? And people do it, and people pay because they're desperate, right? And these people are taking advantage. They're not licensed. They're not respecting. They're breaking the law essentially. And people are paying because they want something better, right?
And this certification, I'm assuming it's it was hard, right, to get?
Yeah.
Like a lot of studying, a lot of tests. Like it's not a simple thing like a driver G1 that you go.
Yeah, I know. You don't just, no. No, you don't just write a test. I mean, the immigration system is designed in a way to protect the Canadian people. At the foundation of it, the Canadian government or the federal government is mandated to protect the Canadian people. So at the core of it is evaluating admissibility of people that are coming into the country, right? So we have to learn about the reason for the immigration system and really understand it, because we are representing clients and employers with the Canadian government. And I mean, we can be held liable for things that we do that are scammy, right? Or that aren't legitimate or that are breaking the law, right? So we have to be careful with things that, you know, a lot of the people in the general public that I didn't know, I had no clue about it actually when I first got into this, but you know, like charging people to give them a job in Canada, totally not legitimate. You know, there's other people that are trying to term things in a way, well, I'm going to charge you $10,000, $15,000 to do your work permit. It's not to find work. It's a scam. I mean, it doesn't cost that much to do a work permit application, right? So people outside of Canada don't have the knowledge that, you know, a regulated Canadian immigration consultant exists, an RCIC. I highly recommend every presentation that we do outside of the country. My business card is my license number. Starts with an R, and there's about I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 digits after. That can be validated through the ICCRC, who regulates us as professionals, right? And I always tell people outside of Canada how important that is to make sure that you're working with legitimate people.